Hey everybody, this is Brandon Edwards, your residential and commercial realtor here in Greater Phoenix. I wanted to get on here today because there's a topic that's always being brought up, and it comes in regards to one of the biggest probably portions of buying a home is actually getting a loan. And I wanted to jump on here today and actually interview a loan officer who actually happens to be my wife. It's Cerita Edwards. She's with Radiant Financial Group, LLC, and really just ask her a bunch of questions that have been brought up to me from individuals like yourself in regards to the loan process. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. One of the first things is go ahead and just introduce yourself. Who are you?
Well, like you said, I'm his better half, but in all seriousness, my name's Cerita Edwards. I'm a loan originator with Radiant Financial Group, LLC. I am licensed in both Arizona and California, and I help people finance their dream home.
Okay, and then one of the next questions is, a lot of people don't understand, what does a loan officer actually do?
I think that we are the spine behind a real estate transaction, and with that being said, basically, we do everything when it comes to financing. First thing any potential buyer should be doing, as you know, is getting pre-qualified for a loan. Do not go searching for your dream house first. You want to find out what you qualify for. I always say I could qualify you for the world, but you might not want that payment. So your first thing is to get pre-qualified, and then once you have that number in your head that you're comfortable with, and that fits within your budget, your next step is to get with Brandon and go out and find a home that fits your needs. Once you go under contract with the home that you find, then that's when you and I get back together and we start the actual loan process.
Yes, awesome. I would probably argue, I'd say you come see me first, just because I did loans for a while, so I understand the process when it comes to that. But I also want to make sure that you're with a qualified loan officer, because sometimes there's loan officers that are out there that us realtors can get really frustrated with because they may be new in the industry, not saying that they didn't all start that way at some point, but I like to have one that's experienced, one that's creative, one that's actually going to make sure they're asking questions and listening to what you're looking for as well. That's very important to me, so when they come to me first, of course, then I can actually get them over to a loan officer that I think would fit with them, which a lot of times is Cerita, and I like the fact that she is experienced, so that really helps a lot and makes me comfortable. So another question I always get from clients is, how does student loan debt affect the loan process?
So specifically right now, I don't know when you guys are watching this, but we are in the midst of a global pandemic, and what happened was the government deferred student loans right now, and a lot of times when you get out of college, they're deferred anyways. But specifically right now, unfortunately, you still have to hit somebody for the anticipated payment of what your student loan is going to be. So even though your student loan, you're not paying anything right now, that's not the case when it comes to getting pre-qualified for a home loan, because the lender, when they're lending you the money, they know that eventually in the future you're going to have that payment to make on that student loan. So how that affects you right now is I have the ability of, we calculate a payment, we go based off of guidelines and we calculate a payment for you, and I do that in the pre-qualification process, so I make sure that is already a contributing factor. I hit you for that against your liabilities.
Which is the benefit for the actual person buying the home, is because you don't want to have a mistake to where all of a sudden you're getting into a home and you forgot about the student loan debt that you're going to be starting to make payments on. And who knows where you're at in your career, maybe you thought you were going to make more and you're not making as much as you thought you would. So we want to make sure that we definitely deal with that up front and make sure that she's letting you know so you know what kind of a payment you'd be comfortable with. Next question that I have, if you want to buy a home, how soon should they start talking to a loan officer?
Today. Honestly, and I say that relatively, but honestly, I have clients that start up to a year in advance. Because what's great is it gives me the ability to pull credit, see where you're at, see what you're comfortable with. If there are things that we need to work on, I don't do credit repair, but we have avenues to help you fix things on your credit if that's the case, if you need to save more money, whatever. And it just gives people an opportunity. So I would say if you're about a year out, like especially if you've just recently signed a new lease, start looking into buying right now and seeing what you need to do to start that process so that we can get a game plan set together and get you on the path to home ownership.
I agree with her on that as well. The sooner the better, because you never know what kind of a situation you may run into, and we actually had multiple clients that are friends that they're like, oh, I could never buy a house. Well, just them letting her have the opportunity to look at their credit has actually made it to where a year later we're helping them buy a house, and sometimes it's been within 60 days because they just they thought their credit was bad, but they never really looked at their credit. They didn't understand that, okay, there's different programs out there. With her help, they're able to get into a home much quicker than they thought.
A lot of times what people don't realize, and you know this, rents are going up, and people don't know that in some instances your overall mortgage payment could be less than your rent. And even if it isn't less than your rent, you're building equity, which is, you're never building equity if you're renting. So that's another thing why it's just really important to get pre-qualified, and if you're not ready now, you will be ready eventually.
Next question is, how do realtors and loan officers work together?
Good question. Well, I think we work together. A lot of times, you build a really good relationship with your realtor partners, and your realtor partners want to build a really good relationship with their loan officer partners as well. And I think we work together in the fact that obviously we're doing an entire transaction together. We have mutual clients that we're working with. You're dealing with the real estate side, I'm dealing with the finance and loan side, and I think we have to have really good communication when it comes to everything when it comes to a loan. Like, there can be no surprises in a relationship, a business relationship between a realtor and a loan officer. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. Honestly, I think the loan side is the harder side, just because there's so many moving parts to where us as realtors, we want to have a good loan officer because we want to be able to get our client over to them, and then if we run into any situations, they kind of are working through all that stuff on the back end, where us as realtors, we're finding the home, doing inspections, and making sure that the home appraises, but they do the rest. They have to deal with all the paperwork when it comes to that, and then we also have paperwork on our side too. But the loan officer, because I've done that role before in the past, I definitely agree that you guys are kind of the backbone because you get us to the finish line. Yeah. We just have to start the process. So once again, that's why I say you get with me first, and then I can get you over to them. What type of loans do you actually do? Because some people just think that you got to have like 20% down to buy a house, or they think that they have to have this kind of credit score, or they have to be in this financial situation. What are some of the different programs that you could go over that let them know that you don't have to be the perfect client for a loan officer?
I work for a mortgage broker. In a broker, we work with several different lenders. And what I love about what I do specifically in working for a broker is we can basically shop your loan around. So in regards to loan programs, I do it all. I do FHA, VA, USDA, conventional loans, investment properties. We do construction loans, jumbo loans, you name it, we do it. We do down payment assistance. So a lot of times somebody will come and say, I'm a first-time home buyer. I feel like that was like the buzzword 10, 13 years ago, like first-time home buyer, which is great. We have a program for that. But there's also caveats with that, right? So first-time home buyer, sometimes because the company is gifting you your down payment, your interest rate can be higher. So sometimes people are like, they like that idea, but then once they see the rate, it's like, never mind, I kind of want to back away from that. So if you have I work with you on what type of program is going to fit best for you, honestly, and your needs.
And once again, as a realtor, that's what I'm asking for. We need to ask questions, we need to listen to the client, and make sure that we get them into something, whether it's a house or a loan that they're comfortable with. It's not about us, it's about the client, and so that's one of the things that I like about Cerita, and then also any other loan officers that I've ever worked with, is that it's not about us, it's about the client. So that's a very important thing, and there's programs out there that are meant for some people and not meant for others. So thanks for information on that. So the next question is, what is your number one tip for someone to financially get ready to buy a home?
Number one tip to financially get ready, honestly, get pre-qualified with somebody to know what you're gonna do. If you need to buy a car, do it now. Don't wait until the middle of the process. But I would advise, if you could hold off on opening any new trade lines, such as credit cards, store cards, buying a new vehicle, co-signing on somebody's loan, do not do it. Do not do it until after you have your house, because this is the biggest purchase you're gonna make in your life. It's the biggest purchase you'll make. And you don't want anything to jeopardize that. So make your payments on time. Huge thing. Like, make your payments. Do not be late. One late can completely ruin your ability to be able to buy. So I think those are my tips. You know this too, this world too. So
a lot of people don't understand how important credit is, and it's just making your payments on time, just being responsible. And if you make those payments on time, it's going to save you a lot of money in the future, just because you're going to get your credit will obviously be better, and then you're going to get better interest rates. People don't look at that as a savings, but the better your credit is, the more money you save because your rates are lower. Something that a lot of people have to learn on their own at a young age, but if you can take the advice from us here, just really make sure that you're making those payments on time. And don't over leverage yourself either. There's a lot of different things that people don't understand when it comes to credit. And once again, getting in contact with the loan officer, they can start, if you're not ready now, if you give them the opportunity to look at your credit and see where you're at, they can start advising you on how to get that credit score up to those qualifying standards to be able to buy a home. So that's why it's so important that I wanted to interview her today. So I really appreciate you coming on here. So when it comes to getting a hold of you, how do people out there get a hold of you in regards to getting some information on a loan?
Well, you can find me on Instagram or my social media handles. Hopefully we'll have them below. Or honestly, I'll have my phone number. I'll have all my contact information below. I think it's the easiest way for you.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. And I also want to let everybody know, thanks for watching. I really enjoy giving you guys this information out there. Hopefully you like some of the tips that Cerita and I were able to give you today. If you have questions, just feel free to hit us up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then I can get those questions over to Cerita, and at the same time I can also get you in contact with her so she can answer them directly and we can get you on the path to being a homeowner.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's the goal. Bye.
Bye. Hey everybody, this is Brandon Edwards, your residential